beautiful people, to another episode of Black Girl Tired Book Talk. And I'm your host, Storm. And today we're diving into the bold, the magical, the unapologetic erotic. You know how we do. We bring light to the authors writing for the culture, for the shadows, and for the lovers of Black brilliance. My guest today, whew, y'all, she's a force. She's a multi-dimensional storyteller. She's the pen behind Dark Love, Black Magic, Mythic Beasts, and toe curling erotica. Jesus. A best-selling indie powerhouse who refuses to be boxed in. You might know her from the Fooling Around series, Phoenix After Dark, The Hounds of Hell, or Queen of Beasts. But let's be real. Is she Sailor Moon with a magical pen, a shifter with a story to tell, or just Phoenix Rising? Let's find out. Please welcome the incredible Phoenix Williams.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be here. I'm Phoenix. I write whatever I feel like writing. And that's why there's so many different genres and so many different books. Whatever I feel like at that time is what I'm going to write.
So let's get into this. Sailor Moon, a magical pen, or a supernatural shifter? Who is Phoenix Williams in her own magical girl origin story?
Oh my God. I would say, oh God, that's a hard one. I want to say I'm like all of it combined. I am what you would get if an anime and mythical creatures had a baby that was raised on coffee and anxiety. You would get you would get me.
How has living your truth, especially in the indie space, made your pen sharper and your storytelling more powerful?
I think just my voice is different. I think we all have our own separate voices, but mine is a little bit different because I take in all the things that made me like a weird Black girl growing up and put that into the books. And so just staying, I think for any author, staying true to yourself and knowing who you are is how you're going to get longevity in this business. You see people come and go all the time in this business. But the people who end up staying are those who are true to themselves. And that's really made me, it's forced me to be better. The new series I'm working on has forced me to like crack myself all the way open and be super vulnerable. So we'll see that in a whole separate series. I thought I was being vulnerable before, but I was not. So we're about to get to that.
So, do you feel like the publishing industry tries to silence indie Black voices, almost like they'll steal our ideas but never want to credit or uplift the actual authors? What's your perspective on that?
Absolutely. I think, and I try not to compare because comparison is the thief of joy. But you will see, I know so many talented Black authors who do not get a shot, do not get to get in the room, do not get to be part of the conversation. But then you see some of our Caucasian friends who their pen game is not as strong, but they're getting all the opportunities. And I remember when I was first starting, I was getting rejection after rejection. They were like, "Oh, well, you're Black, so this is write street lit. Don't write this stuff." Because, like, even my first series, right? If you are a Phoenix Williams fan from way back, then the very first series I wrote was "To Love a No Good Nigga." Okay, that was not my title. That's the title they gave me so I could fit in with everybody else at that time. Now it's called "Sex, Love, and Other Drugs." So you'll see that. But the problem that people had with that in the publishing industry was that my people weren't, they were in the drug game, but it was what happens after you leave it, right? They wanted to see all the shoot 'em up, bang, bang, right then and there. They didn't want them to go and get an education. They didn't want them to go ahead and have other interests. And so I had to kind of like water my story down to get my shot. And that still happens today.
Damn. So, erotica, urban fiction, paranormal, and fantasy are often called niche, especially when written by Black authors. What is traditional publishing missing when it comes to these genres?
I think traditional publishing is kind of like what's happening in the film and TV space, where they want rinse and repeat. They want the same story. This one story came out, and it was, for instance, Twilight. When Twilight came out, everybody wanted a dang on vampire. Okay, everybody wanted a vampire. It was, do you have a vampire book? Do
It's
you have a
like they
vampire?
forgot about Blade.
Everybody wanted flipping vampires. And then when Game of Thrones came out, all you heard in the publishing industry was, do you have something like that? Do you have something that's similar to that? I think if the publishing industry wants traditional publishing, not indie, because we're killing the game over here in indie, but traditional publishing, if you want to survive, you need to take a chance. Take chances on new voices, new ideas, those types of things. And that right there will help you stand out.
Mm. The movie and TV industry almost exclusively adapts traditionally published books, but some of the most cinematic stories are in indie books. Why do you think they overlook indie work until it's co-signed by a traditional publisher?
Because Hollywood, just like the traditional book industry, is about 10 years behind. They're
Hmm.
always behind. I'm struggling with that right now. I have my own projects, and hopefully towards the end of the year, I'll be able to make a really big announcement. But when you don't have that backing by something that is solidified, like a traditional publisher, like a Penguin, Random House, Simon and Schuster, that kind of thing, they feel like that you aren't legitimate. And you're just now seeing that switch because a lot of authors are doing what I've been doing, which is going the indie route and film making. You go ahead and you make your own treatments. You make your own beat sheets. You go ahead and you go to the festivals and you pitch and you get your stuff together. If that doesn't work out, then you go on Kickstarter and you raise your money. You raise your $100,000 and you shoot your film in 5 days. And then you go ahead and you pitch it over to Amazon as a distributor, or you put it on Peacock or whatever, and you get your money back that way. When those type of things happen, you will see Hollywood will come calling for you eventually when you have made a big impact in the indie sphere. So sometimes you have to go around and you got to say, you know what? I'm going to dream big. I'm not going to let these people who don't have the vision because they're blinded by a spreadsheet
Mm.
to go ahead and tell me I can't do it. So I'm dealing with that same thing right now with the whole film industry.
Mm. Should streaming platforms like Peacock, Amazon Prime, Tubi, or Hulu be looking to indie authors like you instead of always recycling the same traditional titles?
Absolutely. I don't care about Fast and Furious number 19. Okay. I hear they're breaking out, like, doing it with dinosaurs now, something like that. I've seen it on TikTok, whatever. There's more stories out there. And you're taking, now I will say, writing a book is completely different than writing a script. It's a whole different ballgame. But you are having someone who is a natural storyteller. You
Mm.
pair them with someone who knows the structure of how to put together a screenplay, you would have magic. That's why my 5 year goal is to go ahead and make sure that I have I guess I can announce this now. I want to, and it'll be started up fairly soon. I'm going to be making a production company. I am starting up a production company strictly for book to film adaptations. Okay, now don't send me your scripts now. I am not ready. Okay, let me get mine first, and then you can come and talk to me. But eventually, I will have that because I feel like there is a disconnect between the book industry and Hollywood. And if Peacock, Hulu, Amazon, even Tubi, who now has their original section, they need to start reaching out to more authors.
Mm, that's true. So, paranormal and erotica often feels like redheaded stepchildren in the lit world, even though they're powerful spaces for expression. What's your take on how these genres are treated?
They are the redheaded stepchild. When I was writing strictly erotica, I would be told, "Oh, we can't have you at certain events because your books are too spicy." Even when you were putting out Amazon ads, they would say, "Oh, you cannot put ads out on an erotica book." They changed those rules, but back then that was the issue. I think that people need to open up their mind. None of us would be here if two people didn't decide to have sex. Okay, so let's just go ahead. Sex is not a dirty thing. And I think that once you get over that and you say, you know what, I understand that it might not be for me, but I'm not going to make it to the taboo thing.
Hmm.
It'll help those who are writing in that. Erotica is not just smut on a, I call myself a smut peddler, but on a paperback pornographer, but I'm just being funny. It's more than that. There's a story there. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, erotica, and especially paranormal, have to be some of the best storytellers. When we're talking about paranormal, you are building a whole new world, a whole new species, and a magic system, and the way things work from scratch. That's magic, okay? Everybody can't do that. I would know because I ghostwrite. Not everybody can do that, okay? So they hire somebody like me to go ahead and do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they need to put a little more respect on the erotica and on the paranormal. Is what I'm getting at.
Let's talk about fooling around. You want this? This is supposed to go to film, right?
Yes, we are working right now very hard on getting that on a screen. And when I start filming, you will be the first to know. I'm gonna have you come on down. I'm trying to film it in Chicago. Have it come on down, be part of it. So I'll let you know. But we are working very hard on getting that up right now.
Girl, don't make me fucking jump out here and go slap my dog because you done said that. Girl, was that always the goal to have your books to film? And could this be the door for your paranormal works to be turned into be seen on screen?
That was never the plan. Here's the thing: fooling around was never supposed to happen. It was supposed to be a short story. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all a story that I don't think I've ever told before. When that book came out, I was part of a publishing company. Okay, there was supposed to be a Valentine's Day anthology between me and several other authors, and I was the only one who got this short story done in time. So the publisher was like, "Can you expand this and make it a full book, and we'll just put it out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." It blew up. It got so big. There was part two and part three, and I was like, "Oh man, it was not supposed to be like that." So when I originally made it, I really thought it was a throwaway story. Like I didn't think I was going to go anywhere with that. I was supposed to just be part of a project, and now it has taken on a life of its own. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I feel like it's taken on a life of its own. That really launched my career. That was the first time that I was on the bestseller list. It's the first book that crossed over where it wasn't just black readers writing it and reading it. It was white readers as well. I had like all the old white ladies was contacting me. So that right there took on a life of its own. And so I really want to make that into a limited series. So I have it on TV, kind of like how Roots was back in the day, the limited series. Just like that, but without the slavery.
You've got Phoenix After Dark, Club Sugar, and Sex, Love, and Other Drugs. These are grown folk collections. What to you makes a book erotic versus just steamy?
Erotic, we are going to dive into what makes sex sex. I want you to be so turned on when you read it that you're like, I need to go and get pregnant.
Oh man.
That's where I want it. And so steamy has levels. You know, you have like, oh my god, a 3 chili pepper, I think is how I use the chili peppers. A 3 chili pepper where you're alluding to it. I think that Queens of Beast is like on like a 2 or 3. Because I learned so my grandma could read it. Because she was peddling my books at church, and I was like, I don't feel good about you taking fooling around up to the pastor. Okay, let me write you something that is going to be a little clean. But when we're talking about fooling around, sex, love, and other drugs, especially Club Sugar, that takes place in a sex club. That is definitely going to be off the charts. Erotica, we are diving into the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and the physical of all acts of sex.
How do you elevate sensuality into full-blown eroticism and still keep the plot strong and compelling?
So the way I formulate is if I can, I'll write all my stuff out, right? And then I'll take the sex scenes out the book. If I still have a story, then good. I can go ahead and I have a full book. It's great, right? I will take the eroticism and I will bump it up. Whatever we're doing in there needs to be enhancing the rest of the story. A lot of times when new authors mess up with erotica, and I do this when I see this when I'm ghostwriting, I don't know why the book is not coming together. And I'm like, because you just put a bunch of sex in here. If I'm a person who wants to read your book but doesn't like sex scenes and I skip through it, I have no clue what's going on in your book.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to make it where you are going to get that full-fledged erotic experience, but
Mm.
there's still going to be an actual story plot line in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I like that. So, what's the secret to balancing intense sex scenes with characters' death and storyline?
So the way you do this is the sex scenes should bring out pieces of the character, right? So let me try to give an example. You read Cold Blooded Killer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The tattoo scene.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving her the tattoo and all that. There we are having character development through that. We are learning his tattoo skills. We are learning that Killer is in heat, which is weird because she's infertile.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these things that you're learning at the same time. But they're about to get naked. It's about to be a really fun time for them.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
have to put in some character development in there. It shouldn't be just, okay, development, plot, a useless sex scene. Every scene should move the story forward, and we should be learning something at the same time.
Mm. Now, the Hounds of Hell, Nyx, Grimm, and Mercury. This is giving dark mafia energy meets gods of power type. Because that's their name. Not that it's paranormal, y'all, but that's their name. But they had that dark energy. How does the series stand apart from your other works?
It's definitely different. Now, I would say in terms of similarity, it's probably most similar to Sex, Love, and Other Drugs.
Mm.
Um, so if you're into like that, if you like Hounds of Hell, then you will definitely like that series. Um,
Mm.
but to me, it's more sophisticated. I've definitely grown. I wrote Sex, Love, and Other Drugs in 2012. Okay, I wrote
Oh.
that in 2012. I was in the streets. I was out there doing hood rap shit with my friends. I was having a ball. I was a whole different woman. Okay, now Hounds of Hell, you can definitely see the difference when you look at the writing. Like you can tell that was my first whole
Yeah.
little series. But you read this one, it's a lot more sophisticated. It is dark, but in a way that I think is tolerable for everybody. There are some dark romance books out there where I'm like, look, girl, I can't. Okay, I can't handle that. All right, the triggers are triggering. Let me go ahead and sit myself down. But I think with the Hounds of Hell, there are triggers. Okay, but I think that I make it palatable for everybody.
Mm. Each brother seems a little more off the chain than the last. In a good way. What makes a male character a touch her and die type and still be a man with honor?
So it's a fine line that you're going to ride as you are riding that character, right? Because you can go one step to the left a little too much, and next thing you know, he's a red pill guy with a podcast. Okay, so what you want to do is I try to make it where, okay, yes, he is a toucher and die. He does think of her as his, but he also knows that she has autonomy, that she's her own person. And as much as she is his, he is hers.
Mm.
Okay. So I try to make it where he belongs to her first, and then she chooses him. And that's
Mm.
what I think makes it a little bit more easy for people to say, oh, he has honor. So if you look at the brothers, they never, okay, yeah, they kidnapped people, their significant others, okay, but they put them in nice rooms, okay. They made sure they were fed, and they never outwardly mistreated them. I think the only one who probably went a little bit too far was Nyx with the whole music thing, because that
A
was
little? That was insane. That was totally insane, but it was on par for him. Actually, I thought Mercury was going to be the one to be like that.
I think he would have had Solana not ruined his plans. She came
Yeah.
in there and was like, let me see what's going on.
So, what kind of heroine can truly handle a closed off, dark, trauma laden male lead?
One who is secure in herself, who understands that, hey, I can't, I can be understanding, but I can't back down to him. With certain men, you have to be extremely firm. And these are these boundaries, and if you cross them, it's going to be some problems. Okay, it's the same thing when people ask, like, well, what kind of, like, how come Alonzo is allowing Adara to be alpha. Well, number one, he's not allowing her to do anything. She's going to do what she wants to do, and he is strong enough in himself to understand that this lady is a drag and I'm a lion.
Wait, what can I do?
I'm just gonna let her do her, and I'm gonna support her. Okay, so
Right.
sometimes you have to just say in a relationship, this person is stronger in this way. So I'm gonna let them run that, and I can be stronger as support.
Now, I'm sure people already asked, but are there any spin-offs or follow-ups planned for the Hounds of Hell?
Yeah, I got like several DMs about this.
Because you
Like,
ain't about to leave that story off the way you left it off. You and then the little girl, the sister, then turned the other little girl into a stone cold unaliver. Like, no, you not about to leave us hanging like that. I need in my life a spinoff like Hellfire Valley.
okay, so there are two spinoffs, and I on my Patreon have people voting right now to figure out where we're going. Are we going to Marcello and figuring out what's going on with him and his new bride, or are we going to go to the Righteous family in Las Vegas and see what's happening now that their father has died? Those are the two paths. I already have the first book of each pretty much done, so I'm just trying to figure out where y'all want me to go.
Let me go ahead and get on this Patreon because y'all not finna pick the wrong book, and then I'm gonna be like, nah, she left off on this shit. What the fuck is this shit? Nah, y'all gotta go in chronicle order, goddammit.
At the end of the book, I gave y'all two options. It was like a choose your own adventure.
See, this is how y'all do us. Y'all, you know, we some indecisive readers. Hell.
I know which one I would choose. I know, and the one my mom was like, "Oh my god, please go to Marcella," because she knows what happens in that book. She knows. She had mom. If you ever want to know the tea, my mama knows what everything is happening in every single book. Books that haven't even come out yet, like my vampire series that has not come out yet. Everything.
Whoa. Backing on up. What? I can't even go to the other question. What vampire series?
I have a vampire series.
You got niggas?
So I've had it sitting for a while. I just been trying to figure out like when I want to put it out. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and do it like around October-ish. But yeah, I have a vampire series.
Ain't this about a bitch? What the hell? All right. Let's get into Queen of B series. The Marshall sisters are fierce. Those some bad bitches. Those some bad motherfuckers. How do you write each sister so distinctly, especially when it comes to how they guard their hearts?
So I had to be very strategic with this. Queens of Beast was the very first book that I ever outlined. Okay. Famously beforehand, I was not outlining anything. So Sex, Love, and Other Drug series, Phoenix After Dark, and Fooling Around. None of those were outlined. I was just right off the top of my head. Okay. I knew I had to sit down with this. It was going to be complicated. And so I had to go ahead and outline it. Now, what you guys will learn in the omnibus, if you guys are part of the Kickstarter and you got that, because I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I still have, I know I don't have it out anymore, but if you were around in 2019, then you would know there was a data book, okay, that had a bunch of facts about all the sisters. And I took it down like a year later, but it was a data book out there. And in that data book, I had like everything about all the sisters, like their their house, what they look like, what the pictures of the character, their animals, all that kind of stuff. I had that all in my outline. My story Bible is extensive. If you were at Black Writers Weekend last year, then you saw the story Bible for Queens of Beast. It is huge, okay? And that's because I have I have over 100 named characters and about 70 named places. And each of those things have pictures and like notes on them. And that's how I'm able to keep it kind of organized. The sisters that in my head, they're all 5 separate beings. It's just making sure that, like, especially when we do like group scenes, that you're able to tell which sister is saying what. The one that's easiest to write is Revy. Revy is the easiest because she's crazy. Everybody else, not so much.
As hell. So, be honest. Which Marshall sister is your favorite? Mine is Mara because of her strength and her fighting spirit. Which one is yours and why?
Okay. I love all of them. Adara, Revi, Mika, Mirai, and Ren. I love them all. Okay. But if I had to pick one that was my absolute favorite, it would be a tie between Adara and Mika. Adara, because she started off. That was the very first character I ever thought of. I love her. I probably put the most time into her because she was in my head for 5 years before I even wrote the book. And it's supposed to be just a one book thing. It was supposed to be a series. So she was in my head the most. Mika, because I feel like people underestimate her. Like once her book was done, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, ooh, Mirai," and they were just like so like with her Reaper powers and her this
It's
and that.
Mariah. I said Marie. I didn't even say that. Yeah, but that's the one.
Yeah, everybody loves her, and they forgot about Mika. But Mika has super strength. Like she can hit the ground and make a crater. She has this mythical big cat, and I've always loved Mika a lot.
Mm. So you launched a Kickstarter for this, and tell us about what can fans expect and how can they support this Kickstarter.
Yes, so we are fully funded. I'm so excited. We are fully funded. I'm still taking late pledges up until I believe the end of the month. I'm taking late pledges too. So you guys have 13 days. It's all the books put together, plus short stories that go in the books as well. Like before, if you remember back in 2018, I was releasing short stories that went along. So if you were reading the books and you didn't have those short stories, you could still follow along, but you were missing chunks, right? So I got those in there. All the information in the data book is in there. I have custom art going in there. And then I have a little video I'm making that's going to be linked in the back of the book there. So I can just let you guys see like my story Bible and like how I did things and where I want to go with this and like how I want to put it on TV and like what I'm thinking in terms of actors or actresses. Like we're gonna like break it all down.
So this is not even a question that I wrote down, but by you saying that, it just made me think of something. So with the way social media is now, is it easier to market in such a wide format where you're able to do certain things you couldn't do back in the day when stuff was in mom and pop shops because Barnes and Nobles and Books a Million and uh I forgot the other books, Walden book, whatever. They didn't have that section for Black paranormal like that. You either got J.R. Ward, Lorelai, Nora Roberts, or something like that. So
Yeah,
is it easier for you now to tap into your creativity and make these promotions?
absolutely. It is way easier.
Mm.
I know with this Kickstarter, like it's an exclusive. You're not gonna be able to find this on Amazon or find it on, I'm not gonna release it on our website. If you have the Kickstarter, you get the book. If not, well,
Yeah.
try. But it's the same thing I'm doing with these purses. You know what I mean? Like I'll eventually go ahead and put those out. But it's so much easier now because you are not reliant on someone else's real estate. So the way the book stores work is that they make their shelves real estate. And you are renting out a small little space, right? But just like with any renter's market, there's competition. People are trying to come in and take your house, right? And so if you are a small indie author, they want to know, well, how many units have you moved so we can give you this one little piece of shelf. Now I will say it is getting easier as an indie author to get into the bookstores, especially if you're local. I have local bookstores out here that are letting me be in there because I'm local. They want to support local authors. But back in the day, absolutely not. You had to have an agent, a manager, and a publishing deal for them to even look at you.
Jeez. So from Queen of Bees came Hellfire Valley. What made this spinoff necessary, and how does it expand the world you've built?
It became necessary because y'all told me it was. Okay, this is not my plan. I I was ready to move on to something else. Okay, but everybody was like, "No, what about the Deviant Crew? What about the Celestials?" And I'm gonna say this: I really wish I would have never introduced the Celestials because that made it so much longer. Oh my god, I really wish I would have never wrote that. I blame Shy August. That's who I blame.
And she probably blame you.
It's all her fault. She made us have an anthology, and I put a short story in there called "Of All the Constellations." And it's a story between Solstice and Taurus. And then somehow at the end, I just threw in the fact that they were going to Hellfire Valley, and that's how they ended up being in that whole series. I wrote that for y'all. I didn't want to, but I'm glad I did. It turned out to be a really fun experiment for me because most of my series ended at around 4 to 5 books. Mm-hmm. Hellfire Valley is long.
Yes, it is. It's worth it though. It is though. Your latest Arrows, God of the Realm. Are we entering a new era of divine storytelling from you?
Yeah, this is actually a Hellfire Valley spinoff. So I introduced the Gods of the Realm in Hellfire Valley, and so I am very interested. If you read that series and I have a lot of gods in there from different cultures, and I wanted to expand on that. So the easiest way for me was to start off with the Greeks, and but I didn't want to do Zeus and Poseidon, so I just chose Eros to go first, and then we're going to do his brother Anteros and their brother Hemeros, and then we'll move on to a different 3. So I have mentioned several times in Queens of Beasts and in Hellfire Valley the second age of monsters, right? Mm-hmm. And this is bringing that in. So as we are moving forward in this new Divine series, we are going to get into the kids, Raijin and all of them. If you are on the Patreon, then you already know what Animal Raijin is, okay? And if you know what Animal Raijin is because you read the Sophie Mashal prequel, please don't tell anybody. Keep that to yourself. Sophie Mashal has her own story. We have a prequel on the Patreon, and I told everybody what Animal Raijin is.
So you said something about the kids because that was gonna be my next question. Will we get books following the kids of Hellfire Valley? The next gen drama sounds real juicy because their parents had drama.
Yes, and we are starting off with those triplets. We are starting off with Raijin. Okay, so the Mashal triplets, we are going to go ahead and start with them. I don't know how many books it's going to be. In my mind, I was like, we'll just do 4. But then my mom was like, you got all these children.
Right. Yes, mother. Yes.
She was like, look at Adara. She's got 7 kids. Revy has 7 kids. Everybody's going to want to know about all these kids, especially because in the last Christmas book, I kind of broke down what each of Adara's children were. And I really wish I wouldn't have done that now because...
You be setting yourself up for failure. You be setting yourself up.
Well, the baby. Everybody wants to know about the baby, Mew, because she has I won't say. I'm almost spoiled for those who haven't read it yet, but she has a very distinct animal. Okay, and I guess she reminds a lot of the readers of a mixture of Ren and Mirai, and so they want to read more about her. But I'm like, in the book, she was 7. Like, good Lord. And then I have the school, the Terrell Academy and the Sophie Mashal University. So people want a school age book series about that. And I'm like, look, y'all asking for a lot now, okay? I'm trying. There's so many spinoffs and this and that.
It is, but that's good though.
It is good. It
is. So you sell wax melts that match the book characters, and y'all, they smell amazing. Amazing. Yeah. What inspired the idea, and how do you connect scent to storytelling?
So what inspired the idea was I like an immersive experience. I do a lot of event planning. And so when I plan my events, of course, you think about how things are looking and all that, but also you want to bring in all 5 senses, and smell can unlock memories for you. Everybody knows what popcorn smells like. Everybody knows if I say popcorn, you can just automatically know what that smells like in your head, right? And so I wanted to create an immersive experience for y'all. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let me make candles. But then I was like, well, not everybody can have candles because if you have like irresponsible children or pets or you live in an apartment or a dorm, you can't have candles. So I was like, oh, well, wax melts will do. And so how I connect the fragrances with the books is no, we make these ourselves. I don't outsource them. I don't white label. We are in this kitchen, okay, like Jeezy, stirring that pot up, okay, making it work. All right.
Lord, Lord.
So we're doing that. Me and my mom, we make these, and so I have like a big tub of just like different fragrances. I'm mixing, I'm matching, trying to bring out how I want these things to smell. And it's worked out so far. We're actually expanding it to go from wax melts now to room and linen sprays. We have been testing those out for the last 4 months. Everybody who's local who has bought some, they love them. So I
Mm.
want to be introducing those. If you're going to Black Artist Weekend, you'll probably end up getting one because I am sponsoring for the swag bag. So we are bringing a bunch of our room sprays down there.
Y'all forever is gonna make my husband say, "Where the fuck we finna put all this shit?" Swear to God. So you're a major part of the Black Writers Weekend. Why is this event so important for Black creatives in film and publishing?
It is so important because this is one of the few events where you're able to mix and mingle with people who already made it in the industry. I remember I got my major start there in 2015 was my first year that I went there. This is my 10-year anniversary. Um,
Congratulations.
so I went there for the first time in 2015. I was nominated. I was so excited. I got to meet people who I still have connections with these to this day, like Tressa Smallwood, who is a film producer. At the time, she was a publisher. She's in films now. She's got 30 films out. She's building her own production studio up in Maryland. Like, I still have connections with her. Of course, Tamika Newhouse has been an integral part of my entire career. And the learning aspect there are so many workshops, and they are free. I tell everybody, take your behind down there. Creative Con is free. You will learn so much every single year you go down there. I go down there every year. I learn. I teach. Okay, I teach you how to procrastinate and still be successful. That's my superpower. Okay. So I think that, and also just like being in community. A
Mm.
lot of times, being a creative, whether you are a book reviewer, a podcaster, a film producer, screenplay writer, or an author, it is a very isolating experience because the creative process happens mentally, right? And so as you're in your head and you're coming up with these ideas and how to do things, it can be very lonely. And a
Mm.
lot of times people in your sphere don't understand it. They want to understand, but if they are not in the creative space, they don't understand it. I can tell my mom and my best friend and my siblings and my dad how I write a book, but they won't understand it because they've never done it. You know what I mean? Just like you could tell me, hey, Phoenix, this is how you go ahead and you become a book reviewer on TikTok. I can empathize with your struggles, but I wouldn't be able to to put like to really like understand because I don't do that. You know what I mean? And so to
Yeah.
be with people who know what those struggles are like and you're able to support each other, to find people who can be accountability partners for you or to bounce ideas off of people who've gone down there and gotten book deals. I facilitate that every single year. Pitch Fest is like my baby. I try to facilitate every single year someone getting a publishing deal because I remember what it felt like when I got mine. And it felt like my entire world had changed, and it did.
So, what advice do you give me? This would be my first time going, first time ever moderating a panel.
I am so excited.
What advice could you give me as a creative who can go down there and go to talk to people who possibly could help me in my podcasting and book literary world to expand, not just on TikTok, but further?
This is a great question, and I have so much because I'm usually on the talent side, okay, and because I do different panels, I'm going to tell you exactly what I look for when I go down there. Number one, do not harass the people. People ask my assistant every single year, "Can you give me Phoenix's phone number and her hotel room?" And she says no, and then I put that person on a block list because that's crazy. But don't I wouldn't bring any physical cards. Bring a QR code, okay, and then have a one-liner that is your signature. Something that's going to make me remember you. I used to tell people, "Hey, I'm Phoenix Williams. I write books and talk shit." They will remember that. Like, oh, I know who that girl is. You know what I mean? So if you come down there with a one line that lets me know who you are, that is memorable as well. And then you come in and you have a good personality, you have great energy. Talk to everyone. Please talk to everyone. And then take pictures with everybody. Everybody wants to be on the Instagram and on the TikTok. That way you can tag them. And then remember to follow up. That's the biggest thing. You have to follow up with these people. So if you meet somebody who says, "Hey, yeah, I'll check out your TikTok and then maybe I could have you on my television show or whatever," right? Follow up and then say, "Hey, look, we met at Black Writers Weekend. It was so much fun meeting you. Can I talk to your assistant to get on your schedule?" The follow-up is the most important part. So you make your impression while you're there. Make sure you follow up. Go to every event. Go to the mixers. Okay, there's going to be, 3 or 4 mixers?
Yeah, I just got my RSVP for that one.
Go to all the mixers, especially the exclusive one on Thursday, because that's not open to the public. It's for all the talent, all the influencers, and all of the industry professionals. That one, if you're going to go to any, go to that one, because that way you can mix and mingle. Everybody's looking to make connections at that one.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. And I was just like, whew, the pressure is getting worse.
You're going to be fine. I promise. Let me tell you this. I'm a nervous girl. It might not seem like that, but I'm a very shy lady, okay? And so before I go in, my mom and my best friend will tell you, you'll meet them when you're down there. They'll tell you before she goes in there, she's like, "Oh, Lord, I don't want to go in here. I don't want to see these people. Oh, my God, I don't want to. And I go in there like, "Hello, I'm Phoenix. How's it going? What's your name, friend?" You just got to just turn it on and go. Because I always look at it like, in that room, there is someone who was going to help me in a way where my future self will thank me for stepping outside of my comfort zone and going in there and making a connection.
The pressure is getting worse. Oh, God. Yo.
You got this. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. Because I was looking at the flyer and I was like, yo, I'm moderating the panel. Lord Jesus, in person.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yo, and then when I got the emails, like, you have the RSVP for the creative event, I was just like, oh, Jesus, this is real.
And then you have the podcast room where you can go in there, you can interview people and like all of that. So, yeah, you're going to be busy.
The pressure is getting worse. Yeah. So, what's your role this year? Like, what are you looking forward to most?
I always look forward to Pitch Fest, okay, at Black Writers Weekend. So if you don't know, Pitch Fest is where anybody who is an author or a filmmaker can pitch their project to a publishing company or a producer or a network executive. I love doing that event because it helps. And the thing is, I'm only in there to let you know like where to go. Okay, like I would say, okay, y'all, you're next. It's your time. 15 minutes. What you got? Come on, make it happen. But I'm also out there like. Before you go in there, we're going to say a prayer, okay? Let me dry your tears. It's 60 minutes. People be crying. They be getting sick. And I understand that because that feeling is like my whole entire life could change in this moment, right? And so I like seeing that because I remember what it was like to be so hungry. Just be like, oh my God, I'm starving. You know what I mean? Like, please feed me. And now I'm like, I'm still hungry for it, okay? I'm always going to be, that's a Capricorn in me. I'm always going to be hungry. Mm-hmm. But just remembering when I had no books out and nobody but my best friend believed in me. Even my parents looked at me like, girl, I don't know about that. And my best friend was like, you can do it. Let's do it, girl. And so now I get to take that same energy and put it into new authors. That is like my favorite thing. I also love teaching. So this year I'm teaching y'all how to make your own story Bible. So that's like my favorite thing to do. And then I always get swept up in the spirit, okay, of being at Black Writers Weekend. And next thing I know, I have like 3 mentees and I'm helping them write their books. And I'm like, why did I do this? But I because I be so busy. But I always do it every year. I go ahead and I give away like 3 mentorships, and they have me from the time we leave Black Writers Weekend up until December because that's when I go away. Okay.
I mean, I appreciate it because I've been a nervous wreck since that flyer came out. Like, because it's one thing to know it's gonna happen; it's another thing to see it happening. And in the influencer of the year thing, even though I did not expect that, trust y'all, I did not expect that.
I was so happy for you. I was like, oh my god.
You saw me on YouTube. I was like, wait a fucking minute. Because at first I was like, yeah, wait. And then
did I win?
Like, yeah. My sisters was like, they said you. They said you, girl. They said you. What? I was sitting there like, but that in itself, it like kind of put a fire under my ass. I already had a fire under my ass, but that really put a fire under my ass. And the fact that Tamika, you, and others believed enough to have me as a moderator, that kind of is like, now what's the move now? What do you want out of podcasting? Where this just came out for me to be able to speak to you guys. Now, what do I want to do with it? You know what I'm saying? And I have plenty of ideas. It's just, how do I make motion with them?
Yeah. I think this would be a good opportunity. Number one, congratulations on your win again. I'm so proud of you. And when they asked me to do the panel, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I got the perfect person to moderate. Let me tell you who can go ahead and do it. And I think when you come down there, there's something about being in a room, in a space where everybody is creative, where it is kind of like, that kind of like energy kind of like infiltrates your system, and you're like, okay, here is how I want to get things done. Whether you're like my best friend who is a Spanish translator for books, or my mama who does the wax melts for authors, or me who be doing whatever I feel like doing at the time. Whatever it is, you're going to be there, and it's going to be somebody in that space who's going to be able to help you. And I think you're going to see, number one, how big your influence and your reach is. I don't think you realize that. And so when you go down there, and
y'all keep saying that, I look, y'all. You know what? You're the, I don't know, 5th person that said that to me, and I hear y'all, but it's just in my mind. I don't think that. You know what I'm saying? I just think, oh, I'm doing my podcast. I'm talking to authors. I do my book reviews. That's Storm. I do my puff, drink, and cuss a lot and speak from my heart, and that's it. That's all I see.
That my dad told me. He said, you might not think that you are doing well, but there are people who look up to you. Okay? And the reason that people connect with you is because you aren't on your high horse. Like, well, let me tell you about these books. Okay? And I'm a book podcaster. All right? You are very relatable and you're down to earth. And so because of that, like I said, I don't think you realize like how much, number one, you mean to indie authors. And then number two, how big your reach is. I think when you get down there, you'll very much realize it. And that happened to me. It's a culture shock because that happened to me my first year I was down there. I got down there. People were like, can I have your autograph? And I was like, me? Oh, for real? Oh, okay, girl, yeah, let's do it.
No.
Last year I had to have like, a little security and all that kind of stuff with me last year because people will follow me everywhere. You don't realize it because you're at home and you're doing your thing and you're grinding so much. But you have a really big platform, and the number one, number two, people trust you. And that's so big that people trust you, they trust your opinion. So hold on to that, never lose that. And then when you get down there, you can go ahead and turn up, interview, interview everybody from me to Casey Mills to whoever else is down there. You interview everybody, okay? And once you do that, Alexa, girl, stop. Oh my God. Alexa, stop. Oh, she don't listen. She hard headed. When you get down there, interview everybody. And I'm going to tell you this. You will see how, I think you're going to explode this next year. Honestly, I think so. I can just see, I've been in this industry long enough to see when someone's a star, and that's definitely you. So I'm very grateful to you, and I can't wait to see how big things get for you.
The pressure is getting worse. Yo, y'all don't understand. Like, I'm real like nervous about this. I am because there was a situation today this morning. Somebody had inboxed me and they were somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, what do I do with this? So I'm on the phone texting freaking Nicole, hey Lewis. I'm like, what I do? What I say? What,
You say, yeah, you take that opportunity and you run with it.
I was like, what I do? I don't know what to do.
You sincerely.
I was a whole mess this morning. I was like, me? You sure you got the right email?
Oh my God. Storm.
Look,
Girl, wake up. You are a big deal.
like, because a lot of people they're looking. Okay, y'all don't take this the wrong way. A lot of people are looking for celebrities to validate them, right? Because then you could say, oh, this celebrity is doing X, Y, and Z, even if it's a follow or whatever. Me, on the other hand, my research lies in the back end of things. Executive producers, directors, people who make the stuff happen for people to be celebrities. So the person that had sent me the message, which I can't say name, but the person who sent me the message was someone who was a executive director
Okay.
for big companies. And I had to go look to make sure this was the right person that I thought it was, and to make sure that she found the right person that she wanted to talk to. Because I was like, I just review books and talk to authors. Are you sure you're talking about me? But, and she broke it down to me, and I was just like, how did she find me? How, and all I
found you.
what I'm saying, but I'm saying I was just like, what the hell? Because lately it's just been back to back, and I've just been like, what the fuck is going on? People don't understand the back end of things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people want that limelight. They want to get the popularity. I don't give a fuck about numbers. I don't give a fuck about follows. I don't give a fuck about views. I don't care about any of that. I just care that I'm doing my due diligence when I talk to y'all.
Yeah.
So in what I'm starting to notice in the social media world, especially with authors and people who are influencers, a lot of people want popularity over longevity and success. And I prefer the latter of the longevity and success, because this is something that can grow into something that I could pass on to my kids.
Absolutely.
People are looking for riches and not generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? So every move I make, a lot of times, Nicole, she'll be like, Storm, you're going too far now. I know it's you, but you're going too far. But what reassured me was this executive producer who don't know me from Adam and Eve, that is with these big ass companies, says she liked my authentic self, the cussing, the truth telling, the way I do book reviews. She said she wanted to pitch something to me, And I had to ask, hey, what the fuck she mean by pitch something to me?
This is really big. This is good.
And I was like, what she mean by that? And I was just so like, do you know who you are?
This
Lady.
goes to show that you being your authentic self makes it where your name is spoken in rooms that you never even dreamed of being in. You see what I'm saying? You being you is all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's like, oh, what do I need to like? And people always ask me stuff, what do I need to be a big author? Yourself is what you need, and not Chat GPT. Yourself, okay, is
Yeah.
what you need to go ahead and be a big author. It's the same thing with being success in any kind of arena. Being yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because she liked you for you. If you were pretending to be somebody else, she'd be like, oh, okay. No, we can feel that through the screen. Oh, you ain't being like
Yeah.
regular. You know what I mean?
But it's, I ain't gonna get emotional, but it's like, for the longest time since I've been on here for almost 2.5 years, people have told me in the back end, maybe if you do your hair a different way, if you wore a little bit more makeup, if you didn't cuss, if you do this to change who you are, a little more less hood, more soft spoken, more, palatable, that you'll go further. And at times last year, that kind of got to me, and I almost did it. But when I saw myself in the mirror, it was just like, that's not who I am. I like my tattoos. I like how I am. If I change that, then it's not me. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a big deal for me to be around you guys at the Black Writers Weekend, because it's me. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else. I can't
Oh,
do
Lord, you're
that.
gonna make me cry. Look, I understand what you're saying so much. I remember at the beginning of my career, they told me that if I wanted to be big, I had to take black people off my covers
Mm,
and put a white couple on there, even though it was about a black couple.
mm.
And I said, no, I'm not doing that. Okay. And I was still able to sell. Being true to who you are. And if nobody takes anything else from this conversation, I hope you take that being true to who you are will take you so much further. Yes, people who are being someone else might get success quicker, but we all know how shooting stars go. They get up there, everybody looks, oh, it's so bright, and then they disappear. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a shooting star. I want to be like the flipping moon. I'm up there all the time. You know what I mean? You might forget that I'm up there. You might not see, like, oh, she's so beautiful tonight. But I'm always shining. I'm always there. I'm consistent. Being yourself will make you consistent.
Mm. You know what? I had just posted about what Cat Williams has said to what's her name?
Oh, I seen that. Yeah.
With Lisa Leslie Jones, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When she said I'm broke, I need to do X, Y, and Z to make it. And he was like, no, you're not. You have talent. You don't have money right now, but you have talent. And she said that she had to change her mindset, because though she was broke, but her talent was going to find her riches and success. And that's when stuff started to pop off for her. At one point in time, I thought I had to fit in with cliques and be with, interview popular authors, interview this, that, and other. Those were thoughts in my mind. That's where a lot of people don't get in this creative space, even authors, and people don't get that. It was me changing my mindset. Shit, you see, I cut off my lock because I had to start over with my mindset. A lot of people don't do understand that when you change your mindset, even though you're not where you want to be, it's coming. It's just not coming on your terms, because you got to grow.
Absolutely. I was just talking to a young lady about this not too long ago. Me and her are working on some film things, and she was just like, feel a little sad because things weren't coming so quick. I said, you know what? Life will always prepare you for the next step.
Mm-hmm.
I think back in my 20s, like, why? Why am I not at the Hollywood and doing all the movies and stuff? I look back now, I'm like, thank the Lord, my little ratchet ass wasn't out there, because I would have been mixed up in a bunch of stuff. I would have went out there a regular person and came back out of my mind. Okay, you have to sometimes grow into the person you're meant to be to handle the success that is waiting for you.
Mm.
And when you switch that mindset and realize that everything that's fast is not always good, you know how your mama will tell you, fast money ain't good money. It's the same thing with success. Fast success is not good success. My dad used to tell me all the time, baby, it will take you 10 years to be an overnight success. I'm in my 10th year. I'm in my 10th year. Okay, so I'm getting to that point now where I'm starting to get the recognition. I'm starting to get the conversations about film, but it was a constant grind to get there. And you're going to see that too as you keep moving. You've been, doing this for what, 2 years now, you said?
250 interviews. I couldn't believe that shit.
Look how much has changed for you. If you go back, every day looks the same. When you look back, everything's different, right? So go back and watch your first.
I did. Let me tell you something. I did from when I had like 3 books on the shelf to I didn't have, no books on the shelf to like 3 books to having like this big boom mic hanging from off the desk talking into it to, so it's definitely changed from wearing so much makeup I look like I was casket ready.
Oh
Lord. To like just saying fuck that shit, I'm gonna just be me. To wearing specific type color nails to just wearing my fucking roundaway girl type long meat clackers. It's growth. It's growth. And I say this for authors and creators. Like, you want longevity? I ain't the fucking spokesperson for it, but I understand you gotta change your mentality. And a lot of things depend on being humble.
Oh my gosh. Being humble will take you so far. Okay. It's not just about getting into the room, it's about being able to stay there. Okay. That's the part people forget. They're like, I'm so busy trying to get in the room that when you get in there, you get kicked out. And I have literally seen that happen so many times where a person has worked so hard and they get in the room and they get kicked out. That happened last year at Black Writers Weekend with a situation with me and a few other people. I was like, girl, you got to go. You got to go. You can't be here because you're mentally not ready. So keep that humility. That'll take you far. And just continue to be yourself. I need you just to realize that you are the shit, okay? And I know I don't want to talk to my best friend's probably like, I know this girl is not on here trying to do these life lessons. Well, she be over here having panic attacks about, oh, Lord, I don't want to go in the building.
That's going to be me. Y'all going to see me before that panel.
Like, I don't want to go in there.
Y'all going to see me before that panel like, oh, Jesus, I'm going to pray for you. Pray for me. Pray for me.
You are going to be fine. It's going to be perfectly fine. I promise. And you know what? I'll be right there with you all every step of the way. And Shy will be there. Nikki Clark. There's so many people who are going to be there.
See how you just said the people that I'm just sitting here already be like nervous about.
Oh my God. What? You nervous about Shy?
Yeah. When I met Shy, it was more or less, I was just staring at her a lot.
Oh my God.
Because I was just like, damn, she writes some really good books. When I met Nikki Clark, I damn near fucking picked her ass up and carried her back home with me. Because I was just like, oh my God, this is Nikki fucking Clark.
You know what it is? I think it's because we have like a writers group together that I'm like, oh yeah. And like when Shy came up here, she was here for my birthday. And she took me out to eat. And we're over there, and she just be getting on me like, oh, Phoenix. I love you, Shy, but you be over here making me do things I don't want to do. I have a whole folder in my computer called Shy Made Me Do It.
Oh, wow.
We have an anthology that's getting ready to come out, and we're trying to make a festival to go along with it. So I'm going to keep y'all abreast of that as time goes on. But yeah, Shy is amazing. She is so humble and so nice. She be getting on my nerves, but she's like a big sister. And same thing with like Tamika Newhouse. People get so nervous. Like, I don't know. Like, people get so nervous meeting her, and I'm like, oh, her.
Yo, y'all just gotta give me some grace because I'm gonna be a little starstruck a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
let's all go out to eat. Let's go have dinner. It's gonna be fun.
And I'm probably gonna be sitting in a corner like this.
No.
Like, cause being black, people don't understand. Being black is hard.
Yes.
Hard. Being a black woman is harder. You know what I'm saying? And when you get to be in spaces where black women are successful, it's humbling and it's also awe-inspiring. So therefore, when you get around people who are successful, you're just like you want to pick their brain, but you're nervous because you're like, damn, wow,
I say pick the brain. I always say always seize every opportunity. If somebody let you know, like, hey girl, look. Not right now, okay? And what you said about being a black woman and being a creative, maybe remember a quote I put in a short story where I said, being bold is hard, being black is harder, being brilliant is damn near unbearable. But be all three in a woman, and the world will try to break you just for breathing. And so when you get into these spaces where you see other women who are on your same level or a level that you want to get to, that's when you go ahead and you try to find community. Because I think we all know that struggle of being, black, female, and gifted. You know what I mean? And it's not always met with open arms sometimes. So I know it's easy for me to say, girl, don't be nervous, because I've known these people forever.
No.
Tamika, I've known Tamika for over a decade, okay? She be inviting herself on my family vacations, all right? And I'm trying to explain to her. Look, I said I was going to Jamaica with my auntie. I didn't say you was coming.
Yo, it's crazy because when she announced the Amazon sponsorship thingy, whatever, I was just telling them like I have this distribution deal.
Yeah.
For the podcast with Amazon, and I was like, I'm about to be in the same building.
Oh my God, that's
the Amazon
that you need. Every year I make sure I go say hi to my Amazon folks, because when I have a problem, I'm not going to customer service. I'm going to the people I've met, and I'm like, excuse me, can you help me? Because I don't know if y'all realized it, but on Amazon, all my reviews ended up being gone. So it went from overnight like 600-700 reviews to 0. And they were having such a hard time and giving me a runaround on all of that. And so I was at Black Artist Weekend, and I mentioned like, oh yeah, my reviews are gone. She was like, they're gone. Let me help you. And next thing I know, all my reviews is back, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. I gotta start all the way over.
But you know what? It's just nerve wracking because I have that Storm and Friends thing that I'm doing in 2027, where I travel to the 3 countries: Japan, Italy, and Scotland, looking for black books.
Yeah.
And authors join in with readers. And I'm just like, that's what I was going to use my distribution deal for. And now here I am, about to be in this space, and I'm just like, I hope my tongue don't get tied.
And make them a sponsor. Have them sponsor that for you.
Because you just don't know how happy I am, but at the same time, I am a bag of nerves being in front of people in the industry like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bag of nerves. Yeah, I can go to a book event and be around authors, but like I said, I don't look for the famous people. I look for the people that made them famous.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I'm just like, ooh, yes, I like famous people, but it's the people behind the scenes that I'm just in awe about. So I'm just hoping I don't embarrass myself, because
you are going to be fine.
I still, I call myself the hood intellect, but whew.
Just take a deep breath. I say, look at the guest list, okay? See who's all going to be there. And then when you look at that, you're able to say, okay, these are the people I want to make sure I talk to. They're going to be here on whatever days. And I'm going to make sure I make it a point to talk to them, to interview them. They're going to want to speak with you. Here's how I know why. because you're part of the press. Okay? And so because of that, they're going to be like, oh, yes, press. Oh, well, hello. How are you? This is my good side. They're going to want to talk to you anyways. So use that as a way to get yourself into a conversation, make your points that you want to make. I would definitely talk about Amazon having them sponsor your around the world trip because I wouldn't be paying for that myself. I would have a sponsor to pay for that.
Yeah, yeah. Whew, Jesus, my God, today.
It's gonna be fun.
I told my husband, I am dragging you with me. You are coming. We are in this together.
You flying down?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you staying at the host hotel?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, me too. Yeah. So we're driving down. Because I gotta bring all my swag stuff, and I was like, look, O'Hare ain't gonna trick me. Okay, I got to be there on time. All right. So I know they be over there playing around. I don't got time for them in their games. All right.
I just gotta make sure the airplane people don't mess up my podcasting equipment. That's my microphones and stuff, because my microphones are not the little microphones. They're microphones. You know what I'm saying? And lights and stuff like that.
You want to just ship them to me and I can drop them down?
Yes.
And I gotta drive them back and then ship them back to you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you my address.
Oh, thank you. That just takes a lot of pressure off of me, because I don't want to go in the bag and the lights are crushed.
Oh God, yeah. That's why I have not flown down to Atlanta for this event since like 2017. Because as I bring more books, as I bring stuff for the swag, I got like all my setup stuff. I'm not messing around with TSA who don't care about me. Okay.
So what's next for Phoenix Williams? Any book releases, signings, or appearances we should look out for?
Yes. So my vampire series, which is unnamed as of right now, but just a little preview into it. We have an insomniac. Okay. Her family has always been insomniacs on her dad's side. As soon as they turn 25, they can no longer sleep. Okay. And usually they end up going crazy or dying in some kind of like freak accident. Okay. Because they're so tired. Well, one day she is up as usual. So she decides she's going to go to the grocery store. She sees a man getting beaten up and robbed. She interferes. And it turns out he's a vampire. The same one that cursed her family with insomnia years ago before he took his several 100-year nap. And so we are going to follow these two as they try to figure out how to break that curse, number one. Number two, why he actually cursed them to begin with. And then number three, why was he put to sleep in the first place? So that'll be coming out in October. Hopefully. We'll see.
She said hopefully. We'll see.
Arrows just came out, and I'm super excited about that project. And I know everybody's asking me what the spinoff for Hounds of Hell is going to be, and I am undecided right now. The poll is up on the Patreon, so if you guys join the Patreon, you can vote. Speaking of Patreon, people have asked me for years for a prequel of Queens of Beasts, so I have that. It is a Beast and Bloodlines, Sophie Mashal story. And that is on Patreon exclusively. And so Volume 1 already came out. Volume 2 should be coming out next week. And then Volume 3 in July.
Okay. So where can folks buy your books, merch, and follow you online? Drop all links, your website, and Facebook group.
All right. So as for where you can buy stuff, you can buy all ebooks on Amazon. If you want signed copies, as you can see, I got a bunch of them right here. Okay. I can go ahead and send you those. You can do TikTok shop, or you can go to phoenixwilliamsbooks.com and buy them there. I have the wax melts as well. Room sprays will be coming in a couple of weeks. You can follow me on everything at Phoenix Williams Books. Okay, whether it's Instagram or TikTok. I'm on Facebook, but I'll be on it for my aunties and them, not really talking to people. And then